Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be for the next 6 months for June through December of 2025. You have this spider spirit says make your dreams real. You also have this parrot spirit says watch your words. Definitely a good time to keep an eye on the words that you're using against yourself. Both of those cards kind of represent your words. You know, the spider is about the story that you're weaving in your life. So I would make sure that you are weaving a positive story in your life and you're, telling the story that you actually want to live. And if you do that, I think things will definitely go well for you here, Virgo. The spider is also about following a process. The spider, it has to weave a web to be able to catch its bugs. And that's popping into my head that a lot of you could be kind of like thinking about your process in life, like how you get the things that you want and desire. And, this is going to be a good thing, of course. It's like when you are able to come up with a better process for how to do pretty much everything, then, things improve. So that's what I'll say there. You start here in your current general energies for the next 6 months with the Ten of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Four of Cups. I feel like good bad about this, Virgo. Not like really bad, but I feel like some of you, it's kind of like a little bit of a wake-up call, though I don't really think that's the right word for it. I think that what is happening here for you, probably in June, is that you could be seeing things where you're like, where things are too hard, where things take too much effort, and where you're not really getting a result. This kind of makes sense. We have Jupiter going into Cancer. At the same time, on June 18th, Neptune will square Jupiter, and that Neptune-Jupiter square is like a little bit interesting. It's probably one of the more interesting energies that we will experience over the next 6 months. I mean, there's plenty more happening, but, that's like the soonest thing that will be happening. And I just think that it could be a little bit of a reality check for some people, and, again, but not like in a bad way. It's Jupiter. Jupiter is still always positive, but with that Neptune energy there, it could be like you could be seeing where you've been delusional. You could be seeing where you tried to like sugarcoat something in your life. This could be like a little bit of a burden. Like I said, is it really that big of a deal? Probably not, because you have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords, she's thinking this or that. She's trying to protect her heart, and she's thinking she only has two options. But really, she has another option over here. I always say that the Two of Swords is my card of a third place solution. It says anything that you're thinking about, there's probably a better way to go about it, but you just have to discover that better way. The Two of Swords can also say that maybe some of you are stuck in a little bit of a stalemate. I feel this is happening at the beginning of this 6 months. I think this is like June energy for you here. And I kind of feel there could be like a little bit of a stuck moment. But like I said, I really don't think it's that big of a deal for you, Virgo. I feel for the most part, you'll move right through this. The trick with the Two of Swords is to trust your intuition. She has this blindfold on. And blindfolds in the tarot can represent needing to trust your intuition. So I would really tap into your intuition here. You have the Four Cups. Four Cups can say that you're hoping for something. You're hoping and praying to receive an offer in some area of your life. But he is disappointed because he has manifested these 3 offers and this 4th offer. But he's not accepting this 4th offer because he's been disappointed 3 times before. So the trick with the Four Cups is to apply the lessons you learned from these 3 cups to this new cup. And if you do that, things will go better for you the next time. So it's really about applying what you learned to your situation. And if you do that, things will go well. So I would make sure that you're applying what you learned over the last many years to your situation. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Ace of Wands. I like this. I feel that for some of you, you are just going to throw those 10 wands down and you're going to run straight for this Ace of Wands. It's almost like you're just like throwing something down in a good way. And the Ace of Wands, I feel, is kind of something that's been missing for you for a long time. Like inspiration, excitement, feeling motivated by something. Like those are the feelings that I feel have been missing for you for a long time, Virgo. And a lot of you could just be getting motivated. You could be getting inspired to do things in your life or to put energy into something. I really don't know how to describe that. I mean, Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new, but this kind of feels like I don't normally get this feeling on the Ace of Wands where you're just like, that's it. It's like you're discovering something to do with your life. And it's exciting. You're excited about it. So whatever that is, I would move towards it for sure. With the Two of Swords, you have the Hierophant. Yes, we have the Hierophant twice here. The Hierophant could be what's holding you back a little bit. This makes a lot of sense since we had Neptune in Pisces. Neptune will be retrograding in Pisces. The problem with Neptune in Pisces is traditional belief. We all believe certain things about life. Neptune in Pisces is like, why? And there is no answer to that question, by the way. But the answer really for you is to ask the question. It's like we all have certain codes, certain morals and ethics that we live life by. But all people don't necessarily follow our rules. Some of our rules might not even be necessary as well. So this is about saying that you might have certain morals and ethics. And this isn't about like being a bad person or anything, Virgo, but it's saying like, are your rules, do other people follow them? Which, again, that's not necessarily a good thing to judge things off of, but do other people follow them, or are you holding yourself back with your morals and ethics, And again, I'm not saying that you're going to be unethical. That's not what I'm talking about here. But, there might be a certain code that you live by, and by realizing that you can change the code or whatever, things could get better. And that's kind of what I get there. With the Four of Cups, you have the Three of Cups. I think support. This is probably going to come up for the other two Earth signs as well, just because I think it's an amazing time for support for Earth signs. So Three of Cups is about surrounding yourself with those people who really lift you up. These people, these three ladies are celebrating this harvest that's happening around them. And so there could be an opportunity for you to really like surround yourself with people who support you, who lift you up, who want the best for you. And that's what I'd be paying attention to with that card for sure. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Make Your Mark card. It says, stick to a decision and don't allow any outside forces to sway you. Yes. You have the Spirit World. It says, your spirit guides are sending you helpful people and opportunities your way. Yes. Three of Cups. I think it's time for new people for Virgo. I do think Virgos are surrounding themselves with new people and, people who lift them up and people who guide them and people who want the best for them. And so I would focus on that. Also with the Make Your Mark card, I do think it's time for Virgo to make their mark in the world. It has been for a long time. The way I think that it's very specific for Virgo, which is like different for everybody else. I think the past many years of your life have been like going to college. I've probably said this to you before, and it's like now this year you're graduating college and it's time to like go into the real world. So it's like you're taking everything you learned and you're probably applying it to a new big picture idea. And that could be part of your process with that spider card. You could be developing a new process for how you put yourself out into the world, how you build your business, how you work, how you create, all those things. And I would pick one goal and make it happen because you can. That's what that card says. You have the Five of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Five of Cups. You're definitely walking away from some sort of belief system, I feel, here, Virgo, with the Hierophant. This is probably something that you've been challenging for, like, inside yourself for a very long time. And, I don't really have any good examples for you, but it's like I've seen it happen on social media a lot where it's like there will be a social media influencer who has a certain set of beliefs, and then they then finally, like in the future, I'm sure you've all seen it, right? Where like they say, for the last year, I've really been questioning this and now I'm changing. And I don't know why that's popping into my head, but that's what's popping into my head for you. I'm not saying you're doing this socially or like in public or anything, but there could be just some beliefs that you've been thinking about for a very long period of time. And now you are finally stepping into like new beliefs, or you're changing those beliefs. I think it's important to realize that you can change. A lot of people, I think the problem with social media is social media makes it seem like if someone changes their mind about something, like they're some sort of grifter or whatever. It's like, no, people are allowed to change, right? And so you need to believe that you are allowed to change. You have the Hierophant. I feel that you've been learning a lot. Hierophant is the teacher. Like I said, it's like you've been to college for a very long period of time. You've been going to the school of life, the school of hard knocks. You've been learning these lessons, and now you're ready for the next level. Sometimes I think with the Hierophant that we can get stuck in the middle because he has these 3 stages to his crown on his crown here. Those three stages represent initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. The difference between an apprentice and a master is not much. The difference is the apprentice knows what the master does, but the master just has the benefit of time, right? The master, if you look at a master, it's like masters know little tricks. The best example I can always give is like, if you learn a language, for example, right? You can become fluent in a language, and like I learned Spanish, right? And I went to Peru years ago, and when I was in Peru, it's like I was able to get around. My Spanish was pretty decent, and I was fine, but there were definitely like little things that I learned when I was there that I would not have learned, like slang words or certain like local terms that are Spanish words or whatever. But it's like you can't learn those things. Learning those things is what makes you the master. It's like the difference between an apprentice and master is master has that experience. He knows those like little tricks, right? And I think a lot of you have been learning like those little tricks. That is the difference between an apprentice and a master at something. And I don't know why that's popping into my head, but there you go. I think it's important. I think that it's probably what will make you successful. You have the Five of Cups. I'm just getting dissatisfaction energy here. The funny thing is I like dissatisfaction energy because I think sometimes dissatisfaction is the thing we need to get motivated to make the change in our life, right? So yeah, sure, some of you could be experiencing dissatisfaction in some areas of your life, or you could be feeling upset about certain things in your life. But at the same time, I do think there are enough positive change cards here in this reading that this dissatisfaction on wherever you are dissatisfied, it's like you're no longer settling. I feel like you're no longer willing to be in that dissatisfaction energy, which is good. With the Five of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. I think some of you could be taking risks with your finances. It seems to me like a lot of you could be changing career, or you could be making changes in your career. And the Five of Swords can be a card of needing to take a risk. The Queen of Pentacles is a card of resourcefulness. She uses her resources to get a certain result in her life. And so a lot of you could be being more practical and resourceful with your finances, and I do think that's a good thing. I think you're also, it's like, I don't know, I get this energy of like not wanting to chase your tail any longer. So it's like if you're in the grind as far as work or business is concerned, like she's saying something to me about you doing things to stop the grinding. It's like you're setting yourself up for more future success, or whatever you want to call it. With the Hierophant, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles can be a change in direction. So a lot of you could be having some sort of change in direction in your life. He's looking at these Seven Pentacles and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to keep investing in these Seven Pentacles, or is there something better or different that I could do with my time? And again, I think with the Hierophant here, that certain beliefs that you have are being challenged, and you're realizing that those beliefs aren't worth it any longer. This is very Neptune and Pisces energy. Neptune will be retrograding into Pisces this year. It's in Aries right now, but again, a lot of you could be kind of revisiting some old beliefs when Neptune retrogrades into Pisces, and you could be saying to yourself, yeah, these beliefs don't really serve me any longer, and I'm just going to make a change. With the Five of Cups, you have the Star. Yes, there is something you want. This card is very important right here. The Make Your Mark card, it says, stick to a decision and don't allow outside forces to sway you. The Star is about picking one star, one North Star. This is your guiding light right here. So you need to like pick one thing and make it happen. And this could be, for a lot of you, I feel it is work or business, but it could be in any area of your life. But I feel really good about this because, again, I feel like you're kind of like moving more towards fulfillment. We go up to the Seven of Wands to the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups can be love, but I feel this is more like you creating something like a more fulfilling life. The Ten of Cups, those people are celebrating those cups above their heads, but they're standing in the real world. So they're like doing something to bring more fulfillment into their own life. Next, in the area of what's messages from your future self, you have this flow card and this diligence card. I think everybody needs to be diligent about flow. Like I've been saying for months, that we all need to get into the flow. We need to do things that fulfill us, that excite us. Like I said, with that Ace of Wands, it's like you're tossing those 10 wands and you're putting, you're creating more happiness in your life, or you're doing things to create more fulfillment in your life. And I think that's going to be incredibly valuable for you here, Virgo, and it's going to lead to a lot of success. So I definitely really like to see that. You have the Two of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is like this or that thinking. Or Two of Pentacles can be like juggling, spinning plates. I feel like something is getting harder to ignore. Sometimes I say that on this card because the waves start very small over here, and then the waves get bigger as they move across the card. So sometimes I think the Two of Pentacles is like you trying to make a decision on something in life that's getting harder to ignore, meaning it's like, something has captured your attention, you're interested in doing something with your life, and it's like building in momentum and also like attraction. So you could be very attracted to like an idea right now. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is just a flash in the pan. Ace of Wands is something very quick. It's like a spark. So, if the Ace of Wands is something that you're excited about, you have to make your move because you have to keep that fire building. And I feel like something is like building here with the Two of Pentacles. You have the Seven of Wands. I have a feeling that everyone is probably going to get the Seven of Wands because boundaries are going to be important at this time. It's really critical that for the, I don't know, really I would say like, for I don't know, the rest of your freaking life, Virgo, that making sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Three of Cups is going to be an important theme. If you're surrounding yourself with people who drag you down, then you're going to get dragged down. If you're surrounding yourself by people who lift you up, they're going to lift you up. And boundaries has come up for every single sign I've read for so far. And again, I think this is a new theme that is going to continue into the future. Seven of Wands are also a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is for you, when you truly believe it deep down inside, then it is for you. And so a lot of you could be working on those, deep beliefs, or you could be working on those internal beliefs of believing that something is for you. And, this could be something you're working on or something you're creating. And working on those beliefs is going to be important. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is a card of stability. Four of Pentacles is kind of like a card of financial stability. A lot of you could be working on financial stability. I actually feel pretty good about it. Normally, I don't like the Four of Pentacles because it can represent holding on too tightly to the past. But I kind of feel with the Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, really what Virgo is doing is building kind of like long-term security. And, like I said, I think that's probably a good thing. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Judgment card. Yeah, wake up call. Didn't I say that at the beginning of the reading or something like that? Ace of Wands, it's like that spark, something captures your attention. Judgment card, this is your higher self angel who is calling you up out of your old life and asking you to step into your new life. So you are definitely being asked to like step into a new life, or you're being asked to come out of the old life. And I think that if you do that, things will improve. You're definitely making some big changes here, Virgo, this half of the year. There could be like a much more major change for you, like a big shift that's happening. It feels like work or business to me. Even if you're retired, it could be things that you're doing during the day, but it could be a major shift. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, we are in a time of curiosity. I think we all need to do more research and look into things that we're interested in, look for answers, ask a lot of questions, kind of be more childlike in that sense. And so, I would just do your research. And anything that you're interested in, just experiment, see how things go, and go from there. And I think if you do that, things will go well. I do feel a little bit of love here, by the way. For those of you that are single, we Emperor, Ten of Cups. There definitely could be a person that has kind of captured your interest. That's kind of what it feels like to me. If you're going to find love over the summer, it's a very good summer for love. But if you're going to find love, it kind of looks to me like a person that you're just kind of like, that person's interesting. Like, I don't think it's like love at first sight is what I'm trying to say here. It's almost like it's something that just kind of captures your attention where you're just like, I wonder about this person. So I would use that as guidance, right? With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles. So I feel you're just building financial security. I do feel like some of you could be taking a little bit of a step back, but not in a bad way here, Virgo. It's like, is there going to be a huge drop in your finances? Hell no. Money looks good. But, some of you could be doing something where you kind of take a little bit of a step back that will lead to a bigger leap in the future is kind of the feeling I get there. So don't be afraid to do that. Like if you have to go back to the drawing board on something, or if you're having to like rebuild something, I think it'll be worth it. And if that message is for you, I think you're already thinking about it. You're probably already saying to yourself, I should probably rebuild this thing, or I should probably rework what I'm doing. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this freedom of location. It says a truly prosperous life is one of freedom to travel and freedom to live in locations that you desire. Yes. You have this envy card. It says focusing on what others have is draining your energy. Coming up in the good stuff, so probably not true. I think you are focusing on the right things. Freedom is a big theme. we had Uranus in Taurus. Well, Uranus is in Taurus, but it will be moving into Gemini. And Uranus in Taurus is all about freedom. So even though Uranus is leaving Taurus this year, it doesn't matter. Even when a planet leaves a sign, we're still working with the energy. So a lot of you are probably working on creating more freedom or building more freedom in your life, which I think would be a good thing, of course. You have the Ten of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Emperor. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. So there could be like a lot more happiness and joy coming in for you with the Ten of Cups. I also think a lot of you could be, kind of like just focusing on the dream. They're focusing on these 10 cups that exist above their heads, but they need to bring it into the real world. So I think a lot of you, it's like you need to start telling that story with the Watch Your Words card, the Spider Spirit. You also need to develop a process. Like, is there a process you can follow to be more successful? And that's what I would focus on with the 10 of Cups. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a card of victory and success. So there could be like a big victory or a big success coming in for you with the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is also getting the recognition you deserve. A lot of people during this set of readings have had these cards of recognition. It kind of makes sense because the energy is lightening up this summer. Things are a lot better. Jupiter's moving into Cancer, which Jupiter loves being in Cancer. So it's a very good place for Jupiter to be. This will benefit everyone. And, I think in a lot of ways, we could be getting credit for work that we've done. We could be standing out. All that stuff could be happening. And that's what I would focus on there. You have the Emperor. The Emperor is about taking the lead, taking control. I do feel like some of you definitely could be attracting love. It could be another earth sign or a fire sign. It could be any sign, general reading. Aquarius also stands out to me in this reading as well, Virgo. So, it could be any sign that you're attracting. But the Emperor, more importantly, is about taking the lead in your life. And I feel a lot of you are really kind of leveling up. You're just taking the lead on things that are important. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Yes, I love it. Eight of Pentacles is a really good card for the next 6 months because I think that with all the energy in Aries, just like straightforward, diligent work, working diligently towards what you're trying to accomplish, it pretty much is the secret to success over the next 6 months, even longer. So Eight of Pentacles is like straightforward, diligent work. It is a card that represents material success on the horizon. You could be getting more benefits for the work you're doing in the future. I said something about a leap with that Four of Pentacles. It's like something you're doing now could lead to a big leap in the future, and definitely could be work. With the Six of Wands, you have the Six of Wands. So definitely a lot of attention for Virgo. Sometimes I think Virgo doesn't like attention, so the Six of Wands could say that, hey, you need to get more attention on the things that you're building. You need to get more attention on the things that you are creating. And if you do that, then things will go very well. With the Emperor, here you go. You have the Sun. Everyone has had the Sun in these readings as well, which is very good. Could be a very good summer. You have the Sun and the Star. Sun and the Star is like fame and fortune. So some of you could really be standing out, getting a lot of attention, or maybe you need to stand out and get a lot of attention with those cards. You have this Wheel card. It says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. This is coming to an end because of that Ten of Wands and that Ace of Wands. Maybe things have been a little aimless for you for a while, although I don't think that's completely true. I do think some of you, or a lot of you, have been working on things that, kind of do have a direction, but, I think that is the final nail in the coffin, that Ten of Wands with the Ace of Wands. It's like, I just see you going like this. You're just like throwing those wands down, and you're like going to something else. I wish I had a better way to describe that to you, Virgo, but that's really what I feel like the reading is about. You're like discovering a new process for your life that you learned that is something better that's going to lead to results. Eight of Pentacles, straightforward results. Like, this is a good thing because to me, Eight of Pentacles is like finally discovering something where you can put a certain amount of energy into it and get a result. It's like when you know what that is, life becomes a lot easier. So I feel pretty good about that. You have this V card. It says victory in some endeavor. Yeah, definitely could be some big wins coming in for you. You have the Six of Wands twice, which is definitely like a victory. You have this Yoke card. It says feeling tied down or frustrated. Yeah, there is something about this with that Five of Cups. I was saying, what was I saying on that card? Not disappointment. I used another word. Dissatisfaction, right? I was saying that I feel that the Five of Cups could be a little bit of dissatisfaction that you are experiencing, but, overall, I think that you're getting better. You have this Peacock. It says, beware of great pride. Yeah, I would be careful of like cocky people at this time or arrogant people just in general. You have this barrel. It says you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. But I do feel like you are going to figure out what this is, and you're going to fill in the gaps here, Virgo. So it looks pretty good. But this is a good reading here, Virgo. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.